This segment is brought to you by Jigmaster Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to jigmasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Off the Water. Today, we're going to be having a special guest all the way from Missouri, Mr. Joshua Boothe. Josh is a big name in the kayak fishing world, especially for the Missouri area, and it's going to go nationwide. Today, we're going to be talking about the Ozarks and Table Rock area. So without any further ado, Mr. Joshua Boothe. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been fishing, been kayak angling, and let everybody know what you're about.
Yeah, my name's Joshua Boothe. I'm the president of the Mo-Yak Fishing Series here in Missouri. I've been pretty much fishing full-time out of a kayak for the last 5 years. I'm pretty addicted to it. It's something I really enjoy doing. I like competing, and I also like putting on these events too, so I'm just all into the sport. I really love it.
Awesome. What are you paddling right now?
I fish out of a feel-free lure, 13.5, and I've been out of that kayak almost the entire time. I really like that platform to fish out of. It gives me all the storage and the upgrade abilities I need, and it's super stable, and I can't ever see switching kayaks, really.
Cool. Now, for the most part, you're chasing bass down in your area.
Yeah, that's correct. I mainly focus on just bass tournaments.
Cool. Do you venture out a little bit and chase any other species down there? I know there's a big striper population down that way too.
Yeah, I try to. The springtime comes, we got the spoonbill run up here. We all go out snagging for giant spoonbill. That's a lot of fun. And then the crappie and white bass. We're pretty fortunate here in the Ozarks to have so many species. You know, you can go to one lake and you can catch walleye, catfish, crappie, 3 or 4 species of bass. You know, we're pretty fortunate. I like it.
Awesome. So me and you met last September for the KBF Trail Series tournament over on Table Rock at the end of September. And I'll tell you what, man, I I got my PB Smalley, and I had one hell of a time while I was down there. Mo-Yak put on a great series for us hosting that. So kudos to you guys. That was awesome. I'm familiar with Table Rock. There's Lake of the Ozarks, Taneycomo, and then going down further, there's a lot of within that reservoir system. Which one is your favorite fish?
It's really hard to say. We have so many big reservoirs in this area. I mean, I can go 2 hours in any direction and be on a dozen lakes. I would have to say probably it's close between Taneycomo and Table Rock. Taneycomo, you've really got a chance of catching those monster bass out of there. It's a great place for a topwater frog bite too, which I really enjoy doing. But Table Rock's just got everything, and pretty much no matter what the conditions are, you can go find fish there. You can get out of the wind. There's, sheltered banks. It's just, Table Rock has everything. And so I guess I got to go with Table Rock.
That's when I fished Table Rock and was getting everything done for the KBF tournament there. I stood to the east side or the lower end of the lake. I was fishing over in the area by the Bass Pro North that's over there. Devil's Cut, I think it was called, in that area.
That's a good area.
And going further south, I didn't realize that once you get past the, I think that's the 75, you're right into Arkansas at that point. Just
Yeah, the
further
lake
down.
does. Yeah, Long Creek goes all the way down into Arkansas, so it's a big lake.
It's the first time I actually paddled across the state borders to go back and forth fishing. But I mean, for anyone who's never been down there, Table Rock, like I said, I just got to see that side of it. I didn't get to see uh, the middle or the upper end of lake, but it was incredible just being in that area. And like Josh said, you pick them. There's laydowns in shallow areas to offshore strip all over where you can catch not only largemouth, but you got smallmouth, which I maybe there. Spotted bass, I got a chunky spot pre-fishing out that way. So it's a good time. You know, and one thing that's down there in terms of custom lures or lures that I can't find back up this way that was really killing it. Jewel G. Are you familiar with them?
I'm sorry, he's breaking up. I didn't hear what you said on that one.
Jewel Jigs. Are you familiar with that lure company?
Yes, somewhat.
Yeah, so I have the hardest time finding them up here in land and just the upper Midwest. I can't down there. They were like gold. You go for certain color, they're all out of it, but they were producing. I really they were designed, and I guess that's exclusive. They're exclusively made in the Ozarks in that area, so that was pretty cool to use something homegrown over that way while fishing down there. I really did like that.
Yeah, they do
All
make
right,
some good jigs.
So I know coming up we have you guys are Mo-Yak's putting on the KBF event for Table Rock at the end of the month. Tell us a little bit what's going on with that.
Yeah, luckily we finally got things going where we're going to start to get back to normal. There's not going to be any live captain's meeting or award ceremony. We're going to do everything online, so there'll be no meetups or anything. Guys can just go fish, check out on Tourney X and go home. Chad Hoover's going to mail out the trophies to the winners, so we'll get that taken care of. But something that's new that KBF is going to be is going to be moving towards, that we're going to start doing on Table Rock, which I'm pretty excited about, is they're going to start doing 2-day trails at one lake. So we're going to have a trail on Saturday for KBF, and then there's going to be another trail on Sunday for KBF. So if you can't get Saturday off, you can come and fish Sunday, or if you want to double down, you can enter in both tournaments and get AOI points for fishing 2 trails without having to travel to 2 different locations. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Do you guys, with Mo-Yak, everything else that's going on, are your guys, majority of your guys fishing for KBF AOY as well?
We do have a few guys that are, fishing the KBF. Like I said, everything's just now getting started. So I expect those numbers to really increase once word gets out about what's going on, because, we weren't even really sure we were going to be able to have this tournament, until just a few days ago. So.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of, for me, it's kind of now as of last night, there's another decision to be had. It was either Table Rock or Lake St. Clair, and I just got word that and change after it, but Lake St. Clair is canceled. So I may be taking another ride down to Table Rock if if my cards play right with work. So I might see it down there in a couple weeks.
Well, that would be pretty cool. The bite's really turning on there. The spawn's in full swing. The water temperature and getting up there in the 70s. So go time.
And this just in from the OG Brian Sheeler, and he wants to know pins for Table Rock. Do you know anything about that?
Pins?
Yeah, he said, tell Josh to drop me pins for Table Rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. You might want to hit up Troy Inky. He was the regional champion last year on Table Rock. I think he knows where all the good spots are. You might want to hit him up.
Or just steal his Whopper plug, killing him on.
There you go. Seriously, though, on Table Rock, you can find fish anywhere.
Oh yeah.
They're everywhere. You just pick a launch and go catch them. I mean, it's really, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but it's true.
That made it so much easier scouting out. That really did deter it. You know, I will say that I was prepared for it to happen, but I wasn't prepared for it actually happening. Was the wind and how much whitecap and current that actually makes on Table Rock on the main body of the lake.
Yeah, that can definitely build up. You always got to plan for the wind on Table Rock. Boat traffic can get really bad too during the summertime as well. But like I said, that's why there's so many creeks and coves and cuts you can get back into, and you can get out of the wind and get away from the boats. That's what I really like about that lake.
Yeah, and me and Brian, we were sticking together. So I was in the Old Town Predator, and he was in the Blue Sky. This traffic crappy was we were able to maintain, but we couldn't maintain long. But we still with it. There was power out there struggling just to get past, some of those whitecaps and current as well. So it did get dicey out there.
Yeah, I can for sure. That wind gets over about 15 miles per hour. You better find a place to get out or just get off the water.
Yeah, we talked away into to some fingers that ran off and then got in some coves, but for the most part though, it almost became it was non-existent for fishing because you were trying just to stay positioned every other cast.
Yeah.
So within the Table Rock area and the Ozarks, is there any other? We were talking about Taneycomo, and I know. So this podcast itself, we focus on the traveling aspect. So let's say I was taking the family down there, and I have kids, and I want to catch, an abundance of fish, but I also close to where, you know, where the significant other wants to go and shop and do stuff within the cities or towns. Uh, I heard Taneycomo has a great trout pot, and the kids love trout. Is that true?
Yeah, if you go on the upper end of Taneycomo, it's really good trout fishing up there. Amazing trout fishing up. There's trout docks up there you can go fish on. You can take your family there. There at Branson Landing, there's a boardwalk where you can walk around and your wife can shop and check out stuff. There's even a Bass Pro right there on the water, so it's a pretty cool place to go to. They got like it's like a little boardwalk downtown area right there on the water.
Yeah, we're staying. It was set up really nice, and that's what we're gonna dive into right now. So coming to visit Table Rock, if you had to give 3 recommendations for restaurants, what would they be?
Well, definitely Lambert's and Ozark. It's not really on Table Rock. It's about 30 minutes north, but you can't come to the Ozarks without going to Lambert's. The home of the throne roll. If you've never heard of them, check out Lambert's. Definitely a place to go to, for sure.
Lambert's, Lamberts.
That's correct. In Ozark, Missouri.
All right, I'm writing this down because when I come back down there, I'm going to hold you to this.
Yep, that's the place right there. That's about my number 1 recommendation.
What's good off the menu there?
Oh, they've got comfort country foods. You can, order fried chicken, mashed potatoes, fried okra, green beans, bread. It's all good. Home cooked, nice. Family style meals.
It's right up my alley, man.
Yep.
All right. What else you got?
Oh, let's see here. There are so many places in Branson, it's hard to even pick out one. I can't tell you any bad ones. That's what I'm trying to think of. But
stay away from here.
Branson and the Table Rock area is really designed for tourism. The Bass Pro Shops in Springfield, Missouri, they've got Hemingway's. That restaurant inside there is really good seafood. And that Bass Pro there in Springfield, that's the national headquarters, and it's the granddaddy of all granddaddies. If you haven't been in if you haven't been in that Bass Pro, you haven't been to a Bass Pro yet.
I
So
tell you,
there's food there, and you can go to that Bass Pro.
I tell you what, man. I went there twice. I stopped on the way down, and then I took a day to go out back, and it's pretty sweet. I'm actually going to touch on that with you down in a few minutes. But you had mentioned Hemingway's, and me and Sheila had gone to Hemingway's for dinner one night, and they had redfish as their special. Man, redfish was delicious. It was prepared. And it's reasonably priced too in there for what you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being down that way, is there any breweries or micro distilleries within that area that people would want to check out?
Boy, that is a question that I can't answer. I'm not really sure. There's a brewery in Springfield I know of. They make two dudes or step dude beer. That's pretty good stuff. I can't remember.
Step dude beer, huh?
I can't think of the name of it exactly. I just tried it out last week, and it was pretty good stuff. But no, I'm not really familiar with any breweries in the area. I'm sure there is.
Well, state has one of the biggest breweries in the country, if not the world.
Wow.
Bush.
Oh man, yeah. That's probably why I'm not very familiar with it, because everything I drink is Anheuser-Busch. If it's not Budweiser, I'm probably not drinking
it. Head to the Anheuser-Busch facility itself in St. Louis.
I have not been there, and if I did, I would probably not want to leave.
Yeah, that's kind of that was one of the key reasons why I didn't stop home. It was I'd probably be there from open to close, and then I probably had to stay a night in St. Louis after getting done with the tour.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I don't expect you to know this question, but for the ladies, for the men who like wine, any kind of vineyards or wine, out.
Man, I'm sure there is, because Branson has everything. Yeah, there's a Stonehill Winery. Let's see, that's in Branson. The St. James Winery, Mount Pleasant Winery. I know I think those are the three top ones. So yeah, there's definitely some wine to be had in the Branson area.
Yeah,
Stonehill Winery. I think a lot of people have heard about that one. That was a pretty famous place. I haven't been there, but I've heard a lot of people talk about it.
My girlfriend is a wine aphrodisio, and I'm sure there's a bottle of that within the fridge somewhere. I just never paid attention to what the label said.
Right.
So, it's funny because you're in the middle of Missouri. You're in a hilly, mountainous area, but you wouldn't think a lot of wine comes from this area. And one of the biggest things that are popping up, and it becomes one of the more popular things to do, is these small vineyards that pop up all over the place now. I remember, I have family in Southwest Michigan, and that was the Napa Valley of the Midwest. Now you could drive, within a half hour and find a vineyard. It's crazy how fast that's popped up. And same thing with the breweries.
Yeah, the same thing's going on down here with wine. I mean, I've noticed as I drive around, you're starting to see more and more, you see wine or grapes, growing out in fields. So I'm starting to see more and more grapes being planted.
Yeah. So down now, I know close to this in Branson. Let's talk about some bars down there for people who are coming. I know the big one is the Spinning Wheel. Right? Is that the big one for Branson?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them, really.
We our last day down there, we had a pretty good time at the Spinning Wheel. They had karaoke and stuff going on. entertaining to watch that. They actually had pretty good food there. But if you had a couple, two more bars to throw out for a recommendation in that area for people to go to, where would you send them?
I like Flat Creek Bar and Grill. They're on Flat Creek. It's right on Table Rock as well. Uh, they've got even a little hotel there with some pretty decent prices on rooms if anybody's looking for a place to stay. And plus, they've got a bar and a restaurant right there. So yeah, Flat Creek Grill's pretty nice.
Cool. You know, and correct me on the area, but there was one that really caught my eye, and I didn't stop there. But when I was going to the launch for the majority, say it was called the British Inn, or it was an English pub just outside of Branson. If you're going towards the Bass Pro Resort.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the area, but it was a small little town. The biggest flagship that was there, the British in the town. Oh, that was pretty cool. But between going back to get stuff prepared for the tournament, I didn't have the time to stop, but it's definitely on my radar to see that. And little side note of it, we were watching a TV show, and it happened to pop up on the TV show. I'm like, oh, I know where that's at. So
yeah, hopefully all these places get to start opening back up. Missouri's slowly coming back open. I don't know how many of them places in Branson are actually open back up. I haven't been down there yet, so hopefully by June 1st but by the Table Rock event, everything will be open back up. I hope.
Well, Godspeed to that, because Illinois isn't opening up anytime soon.
We've started the process. Campgrounds are supposed to start opening up on the 20th, so just in next week they should start opening up, and I think everything's going to slowly start progressing to normal. And by June 1st, we should be hopefully back to normal. If you can get back to normal.
Yeah, for us, man. I mean, they opened up some state parks, but it's a lot of the fishing around here, around the Chicago area where I'm at, really hasn't been affected. Lake Michigan is closed, but that's kind of weather really dictates Lake Michigan, but inland, for the most part, a lot of the people to go to the states are now coming to all my good spots. And now, yesterday, the boat traffic was crazy on a small little lake I was fishing. I've never seen so many boats there and parked in the spots than yesterday. And we had quite the entertainment with amateur hour watching. And God bless this guy, because I don't know how he did it, but he let his daughter and his wife try to put the boat on the trailer, and the boat wound up with the outboard facing the car.
What? Wow.
It was a sight to see. He had the patience of a saint, because he was cool and collective the whole time, and I would have been freaking out. That was me. So, talking about traveling and going down, so family fun. And I know when we had our check-in and the event for the series, Indian Park if I'm not mistaken, is that called Silver Dollar theme park?
Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, Silver Dollar City.
Yeah, and if you come to this area, that's another must place to go to. I mean, if you have not been to Silver Dollar City, you really need to go there. It's all the people that work there are dressed in time costumes from back in the pioneer days, the 1700s and 1800s. You can get home cooked kettle meals there. Everything. It's like going back in time when you're there. They've got so many different shops. They've got blacksmiths that are there making stuff. You've got wood carvers, artists. There's all kinds of artisans there that, I mean, it's a really unique place. Not to mention it's got roller coasters for the kids, and it's got a small kid area. It's one of the best. I don't know what theme parks in the country. I would guess. It's a big one right up there with Worlds of Fun and stuff.
You know what? And if you would have not said that, I probably wouldn't turn another eye to it. But now that you said that, I'm kind of intrigued. So I think I'm
Oh,
gonna have to
I
check that
would
out myself.
I would highly recommend going to Silver Dollar City. You'll have a good time for sure.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Any other places down there that would, or is that the top dog of the of family attraction and
Oh, that
the
is that is definitely the top dog. Silver Dollar City is king down there, but like I said, Branson is designed, to provide family entertainment. So you can get into the downtown area on the strip and you can just get out and walk, and you've got go-karts, you've got museums, you've got just one thing after another on the strip. So going to the Branson Strip in downtown is something that families really enjoy doing. There's all kinds of shows, magic shows, musical theaters. Everything's there.
cool, man. Well, you know what? And this last part of it, is there anything in terms of nature close to you that you would say someone has, if they come down here, you have to check this out. This is my personal favorite thing to do or see while down in the Ozark area.
Yep, that's an easy one. Dogwood Canyon.
Dogwood Canyon.
Dogwood Canyon. If you like to trout fish, they've got trout there, but it's an amazing museum. It's nestled in between these two bluffs. It's got old Indian artifacts. There's a couple caves where they actually found remains and they've left them up there. There's the walking trail goes through there. They've got wildlife. I think there's buffalo and stuff back in there. I mean, it's it is a really beautiful place to visit, and I would definitely recommend Dogwood Canyon for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds pretty legit. I uh I would definitely say I'd have to check that out myself. I love history. I love looking at artifacts. I'm that kind of guy who will stop and read the whole display, and everyone's like, 50 feet ahead. Hey, come on, let's go. Hey, I'm trying to learn something here.
Yeah, you'd really like it then. That sounds like a great place. You can also rent bikes and go for bike rides on the trails and stuff, and it's all paved and real nice. It's real scenic.
Cool. Well, is there anything else that you want to add in to those recommendations that you may have missed?
Oh, I mean, for anybody thinking about coming to this area, just keep in mind that we have tons of campgrounds, tons of parks. All if you like to camp, if you don't like to camp, if you want a condo or a hotel, there's tons of that there in the Branson area as well. But we have other lakes in the area too, like Stockton Lake and Truman Lake. Those are some really great lakes too, and they're all on public land. So you can get out of your boat and go hiking through the woods, or you can just take off and do whatever you want. You can go hunting, you can go fishing. So there's no houses on the lake, it's no docks, it's just nature. So I mean, there's a lot to offer in this area.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I drive in just to drive down, like I said, I came down from Chicago, and once you get outside of St. Louis and you start going down 74, pretty much from once you get off at Springfield and start headed south, you never realize, you know, how the terrain changes down there. I always thought Missouri was flat until you got to that point.
No, it's not flat at all. Not down there. It's nothing but hills, and I call them mountains, but I guess some people just call them big hills, but they're small mountains to me.
Oh yeah, and even driving around, if you're driving around Branson, you're going back towards Taneycomo. There's, there it's almost like a switchback and a turn so you got to be careful on those roads,
Yeah, you definitely want to go slow on those twisty, curvy roads.
especially if they're behind you. I've seen someone almost take out and lose their bass boat in front of me because they were going too fast.
Yeah, the
Cool.
speed limit may say 40 miles an hour, but you want to go 15 around those curves.
Cool. Well, with all my guests, we always play a little game called True Confessions. So the game works like this. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to have you tell me something, whatever it is, funny, crazy out there. I don't care what it is. You tell the story, and I had to tell if you're telling the truth or if you're BSing. And this is a little way just for us to get an insight, or our listeners get an insight on our guests. So whatever you want the world to hear, whether it's true or BS, lay it on.
All right, let me think here for a second. All right, the kayak series that I'm part of, the Mo-Yak fishing series here in Missouri, was started in 2015. The very first angler of the year, he was fishing in a sit-in kayak and paddle only. The second year, 2016, the Mo-Yak Angler of the Year was a paddle-only kayak. 2017 was paddle-only. 2018 was paddle-only Angler of the Year. In 2019, a lot of guys, you know, that were in the Hobies and Torpedoes and trolling motors. 2019 Angler of the Year was paddle-only. So for the past 5 years in a row, the Angler of the Year in Mo-Yak has been paddle only in this kayak. That's my story.
That sounds pretty true.
It is true. It is true. As crazy as it sounds, I mean, we've got a lot of people. We're up to 160 paid members so far. I mean, we're having big turnouts at tournaments, and we've got a lot of great anglers. But yeah, the paddle guys have been dominating.
That's awesome. And, you know, it's, and I didn't realize, especially when we went there, how big of a club you guys had. And, you know, everyone had Mo-Yak. I'm like, wow, like you would have thought it was like its own separate event from what KBF was having.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. We got a great group of anglers, and it's credit to the lakes we have around here. So a lot of the people in this area love to fish. So we've got a great group of guys. That's what makes the club so great. It's the anglers. You know, we never have any problems. Everybody gets along. Everybody helps each other out. It's a great tournament trail.
All right. Well, here's one for you, and this one is related to being down at Branson. So, are you here with two guys by the name of Sam Jones and Alan Reed?
Yes, yes, I think I do know who that is.
All right, so Sam Jones, if you're listening, brother, this one's all for you. So, it was our last night at in Branson after fishing Table Rock, and we all wanted just to kind of unwind. So we went to the spinning wheel. At first, it was kind of, nobody was really there. It's just us, So the server comes out, starts bringing us our drinks, and then this gentleman comes up to the table, and he looks directly at Sam, Alan, and myself, and he's like, "Oh, hey, can I get you guys a drink?" And Sam, just with the slight grin, he's just kind of like, sure. So the guy proceeds to go get a drink. Now, we're not sure if this guy was a server or not, but he comes back and he buys us all around, goes back over to the table. And we're like, oh, this guy wasn't a server. He was with this group of people. So then later on, the karaoke's going on and he goes up to sing. And Sam's like, dude, this guy keeps eyeing me the entire time while he's on stage. Like, maybe he likes you, man. So we're getting ready to close out, and I ran to the bathroom. I come back, and Sam goes, this guy just gave me his number. And we're all dying because Sam's like freaked out. He has wife and 2 kids, and this guy gives her. I'm like, I don't know, man. What are you gonna do with it? Yeah, it was on the receipt right there. I'm like, what are you gonna do with it? He's like, I don't know. So we left and I asked him, I go, you still got the guy's number? He's like, yeah. I was like, what? So I go, what are you gonna do with it? He goes, I might call him for some fishing advice down here. I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. So from this day, Sam hasn't said anything about it, but I told him I'd bring it up one day, and this is the day I brought it up. So, Sam, what happened to the number?
Oh man, saving it for fishing advice, huh? I'm not sure that guy may be an expert on fishing.
Are you calling BS?
No, that's so funny. I'm gonna say that's probably true.
You know, you called out the BS part of the story. Everything else that was going on was true, but he didn't save his number.
No.
But yeah, no, we had a good. It was quite funny. You know, the guy did wind up coming back to the table, but he had it out for Sam.
That's funny. Poor Sam.
Yep. So, well, Josh, I just want to say thanks for coming on to the podcast. You know, pleasure. Thank you for telling everybody what's good, what's some good stuff to do down when you come down to the Ozarks and Table Rock. Do you want to give a shout out to any sponsors or people you'd like to say hi and give thanks to?
Just want to, give a shout out to Feel Free Kayaks. They've really been a big factor in getting me where I am today, and so I'm just really happy to be in that kayak and glad to be on here. It's nice talking to you today.
Awesome, man. So are you following our bracket series right now?
Yeah, I'm in the one that's getting ready to start, so I'm getting ready to really start following it once I get involved. But yeah, I've been following the bracket a little bit.
So this
the one between you guys, the podcast bracket. That's what you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard about that.
So I'm going up against Dan Perry this weekend. Dan Perry's down in Alabama, and I'm up here in Chicago. We'll see. We'll see.
That's tough.
It's gonna. You know what? I don't know. Anything can happen, but I feel that Dan might have the upper hand here. But you know what? I ain't going down without a fight.
There you go. Gotta keep on casting.
Well, you know what? If you're ever up in Chicago, man, hit me up. We'll get you out fishing up this way.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks again for hopping on the podcast. And then thanks to all our sponsors for the Paddle and Fin series, Rocktown Adventures, Master TRC Rod Covers. And from this point, see you guys off the water.
Go check out the website, guys, paddle_fin.com. Also check out YouTube, youtube.com/paddleandfin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest, feel free to email us at paddle_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're doing giveaways, announcements, things like that at Facebook and Instagram at Paddle and Fin. Shout out to our show supporters, Rocktown Adventures, Leveling Canoe and Kayak, Hammered Lures, Fish Mob Lures, TRC Covers, Catch Products. Go to catchproducts.com. You can put the Paddle and Fin logo right on your catch board. Don't forget to go over and pick up your Jig Masters jigs. Use promo code PNF20 and save 20% today. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps grow the audience, helps others find our podcast. So please drop a 5-star rating in on the podcast platform you're listening on. Don't forget about the recycled plastics program, you guys. Take your used plastic baits, put them in an envelope, mail them to the address in the show notes. Our man Eric Richards at Hammered Lures melts those down, makes new baits, and donates them to various chapters of Heroes on the Water.